Okay, some van build updates. So I wound up getting these organizers off of Amazon. There was a 2-pack. I really do like the behind the seats, so I'll have all this extra storage, as well as this actually folds down to like almost like a small little tabletop. I'll be able to use that while I'm cooking here. I can use that. I can also set media up here, put my cell phone up here, whatever I need. So I think that's really good. And you can see here, and I'll show you. So I kept thinking of a curtain solution, and what I wound up doing is I wound up buying, I'll talk about this later, is some of this outdoor Velcro. It's rated to 15 pounds. I'm going to do the back window today. I'm going to do it in 2 sections, just like I have up front. And I'll kind of explain some of the reasoning behind that and what I'm going to do just in case it possibly will start coming down. I also have my water solution. I have one of those 5-gallon water containers that I have the USB rechargeable pump for it, which I will set up later today. And I think that is it for now. This is, of course, I thought the van came with it, but I actually had to go to U-Haul and get a hitch. And this is a spare tire for the hitch, a spare tire holder, which I went to a auto part, like an old dump, and got a rim there and got a tire put on it because I wanted a full-size spare. And I'll show you that later. I got this off of Amazon. I think it was like right over $100. And it's a good solution. Like I said, I did want to have a full-size spare. I don't know if any of you have a Grand Caravan or anything like the Town and Country, but the spare tire is actually underneath the driver's area, the driver's seat and the passenger area. You actually have to open up the center console. There's some kind of a winching device that lowers the donut to the ground. It doesn't seem it doesn't make sense to me, boondocking and being in areas where you might not have the ability to quickly get a tire repaired. I think a full-size spare is, in my opinion, essential just for peace of mind. So that's what I went ahead, and that's the reason why I have that. And I don't feel that this was, a waste of money. In fact, I've got some other plans for it also. So, all right, I will show you the curtains once I get them completed. Okay, good morning. I'm adding on to the video where I was just more like just some updates to what I've done inside the van. I've actually been spending more days and nights in the van to get, once again, to kind of get everything situated. One of the things that I recently talked about was I was putting up the Velcro strips for the blackout curtains for both the back window, and I'll show you the front cabin. So let me go ahead. I'll spin the camera around. As you can see, I also have LED lighting. I picked up a box set from Home Depot, and it was very inexpensive. It was like $15. It comes with like a little remote. It has all the little flashing lights and different colors. It's very nice, but very inexpensive. Like I said, for $15 at Home Depot, and I think they said something like it's a new product. But I'll turn the camera around and I'll show you what it looks like. It's already after 8 o'clock. The sun's already up, and then I'll show you what I have set up so far. Okay, once again, I'm sitting in the passenger seat, the one that I kept. I'm so far very, very pleased in keeping it. So as you can see, the front panel I bought one blackout sheet. I was able to cut it down at the bottom, and the remnants from the bottom is what I made the back. And you can see I do have, there is light bleeding in. And, as for like 100% stealth, I don't think I'm going to be in a position where I'm going to really want that. You know, I might, you know, at night for sure, if I had no lights on whatsoever, you can sit there and see that, you know, it'd be hard for somebody, hard pressed to see that somebody's in here unless I had all the lights on full blast. And, you know, so I'm not really concerned about that. But, you know, we'll see as that goes. As you can see, I do have this hanging fan. I picked that up also off of Walmart. It has a 30,000 milliamp battery in it. That's what the lights are plugged to. And what I do is while I'm driving, there's the outlet here. I plug that in so it recharges. And that's what I'll use. Right now it's too cold. I'm in Florida, so too cold is relative. It's 40 degrees right now outside. It's probably close to that in the van. I did turn the heater on. In this model, it doesn't have much of this head console thing. All this does is control the air back here, and I do have vents, so early morning when I wake up, if I want to, I can turn on the engine, wait for it to warm up, and it's comfortable enough. Then this is my bed. It is one of those trifold 3-inch memory foams. That's my sleeping bag. I'll set up in a little bit for breakfast. I'll go ahead and I'll do some oatmeal. What I also did back here, let me come around here. I could show you from the inside, from the outside, but I do have right here, I have a 5-gallon tank with one of those USB pumps. So the water pump and 5-gallon tank, so far, it seems like it's a good option for me. I'm not really sure. Once again, I'll have to learn over time what my water consumption is going to be like. But it's fairly inexpensive. From what I found at a local grocery store, it's like $2.50 to fill up a 5-gallon. Once again, I'm not sure exactly what my usage is going to be. Also, just another real quick tidbit or a comment. I did use, like I mentioned, I'm using that heavy Velcro outdoor 15-pound, I think it was 15-pound or 30-pound tests. I do know that by the fabric, over where it's attached to the fabric, it does come undone. So I'm going to have to look into options. I am thinking about possibly gluing, but I'm not sure. I've yet to make that final, I guess, that final step of doing whatever I want to the van. I know that people, they'll sit there, they cut the roof to put the vent in, and, then at that point, in my opinion, you're at the point of no return, as in when you sell your van, you're going to be selling it. If you're going to resell your van, you're going to have to sell it as a camper van. One of the things I would like to do, the outside cosmetically, is I wouldn't mind drilling a hole through the side of the van so I could have shore power when that's available. And then the last thing I just want to, I'll share it with you once we get it completely put in. I did show you that hitch. And the funniest thing is that we put the hitch in, got the hitch installed. I bought the spare tire holder. Very exciting. Put it all up. And then once I put it all up, I realized, oh, wait a minute, it completely covers the license plate. So here in Florida, they've actually passed laws that you can't even have the cosmetic little license plate holder that usually has like the name of the dealership or anything, or maybe your favorite, football team. Supposedly you can't even have that on your license plate. So needless to say, I bought a license plate holder that I can actually get mounted on the side of the van door, which I'll do that and run some wires. So I'll also have light, because I am going to have that spare tire. And I did buy one of those outdoor garbage cans that are for the spare tire. So I'll show you that as we get all that together, but we're still not there. Once again, sleeping here at night, just once again, getting it all comfortable. Once I get all the window shades down, I'll show you the setup, and also I'll show you a typical breakfast that I have while, one of my typical breakfasts. Okay. Took all the shades down. A little bit of condensation. My understanding, that's to be expected, but I'm not running any kind of heating systems in the van. I don't have like Mr. Buddy or whatever those. I've heard those from all the videos I've seen. I'm sure you've seen them too. For those of you who watch a lot of these van build, they say there's a lot of condensation with those kind of heaters. I know a lot of people go with the diesel heaters. I'm going to try to go heaterless and see how that goes for me. I might not have mentioned I did get these two. It was I got this off of Amazon. It's a double. You got two of them. It's basically it's a Backseat Organizers. They're very nice. The table, I might have mentioned them in another video. Those tops, they both come down to make like a little tiny table. I have one organized just for my kitchen stuff. I have another one organized just for the my toiletries and vitamins, those things. As you can see, the fan, I go ahead and when I take it down, I just plug it in. That particular plug there is only active when the car is running. So I just use that as when I'm driving around. I'm going to try my best to just use the house battery, which I have under here with my cooking pots, the rice cooker, the crock pot, and then also have other food storage here. All my clothes are behind here, and my backpack stuff is behind this chair in that lower compartment. You know, as everybody knows, when it comes to living in a vehicle or living in any small space, it's all about minimalization and organization. So that's what I am currently working on with my day-to-days. Then I will, like I said, I'll set up for morning coffee. I'm still just using my camp stove. I do have another stove, which I'll show later. And then I also have I'll once I get set up for breakfast, I'll show you the other piece that I bought. Another thing just to minimize on any kind of spills or anything like that. Okay, so this is basically just a standard breakfast that I can eat every day. It's just some steel cut oatmeal with chia seed and some kind of dried fruit. In this case, I have craisins. This is my rice cooker, which I've shown you in another video. This is one of my main cooking utensils. We can do a lot of different things, and we'll explore those as the days go by. I have it all plugged in here, and it all goes to my Blue Eddy house battery. So I will go ahead and I will set it all up, and I'll show you when I'm about to start it. All right, simple enough. Just put all the ingredients in. I do have a tripod, but I haven't experimented enough with it to set it up in here and see how that will all do. This is fairly simple. And then that's it. Now I just sit and wait. And everything else, like I said, the tray, I just went on Amazon and I found the largest baking tray I could find. And the main reason for it is just for spills. I just want somewhere that, I make my coffee on it. Just something I just didn't want, that, God forbid I sit there, I knock something over. I would prefer to try to catch as much liquid as possible rather than it going down into my storage areas. All right. Okay. There we go. And I opened up the door because I don't have a roof fan yet. So, and that's what it looks like. I'll wind up adding a couple of things to it. I like to put a little turmeric and black pepper and cinnamon. I add that after. And, and once again, it did take up about 10% of my battery. So, which is fine. I plan on doing some driving today anyway, and I'll have the DC to DC charger to go ahead and charge it up. But if I was boondocking somewhere, I would deploy the solar panels, probably just lay it on top of the roof. But yep, I'll go ahead and, like I said, this video is gonna just have a lot of little bips and bobs and kind of like just going over. So yeah, so that's, once again, that's like where I store all my spices, right here by the cooking, and simple enough. Okay, so this is the view from the trunk area. So like I said, it's a foldable 3-inch. It's where I store my my shades and everything. You can see underneath here and under here, that's where I keep all my clothes in those compression sacks, which are really nice. My backpacking gear, and here's the water. I made out of some of the Reflectic, I made a sleeve for it to kind of help mitigate any kind of freezing. I don't expect to be staying in, like, you know, very, very cold weather for a very long time, but, you know, I just want to go ahead and just be prepared. And once again, when everything gets put away, it's pretty clean. I still have, there's so much unused space. You know, I keep reminding myself, I'm like, oh, you know, I don't want to get this, or maybe what about that? But there's just so much unused space. You know, you can see over there that I'm barely using. And even underneath the storage areas too, there's a lot of space over here towards the front. It's completely unutilized. So, but all in all, it's going very, very well.